Welcome back to One Eye Television. Today we got a great topic, a great subject that I wanted to discuss. This topic we were going to be discussing, as I tie into the subject matter, I wanted to give you all a quick demonstration of this art piece that I will create. In creating this art piece, I would tie it into the story that I wanted to tell you. As you continue to follow my journey on this art road, I want to always tie my art into my experiences of being in this world and what it's like for me to create and tell stories through my art. Today's subject is going to be about dreams. What it was like for me as a kid growing up, and what it was like to dream and imagine things that I would want to become in this life. As I experienced growing up, I remember the teachers and being in school, and the teachers would ask us, what are your dreams? What are your goals? What would you like to be in this world? What are some of the things you would like to experience as being a human being on this earth? And to be honest, without having a father figure, I think my first experiences or first ideas of really getting a concept of what I really wanted to be in life, my first example was my uncle. He was a football player. He was in school playing football in college, and that just it was a thrill to see someone from my family doing positive things and doing things that look very just very exciting for me. It was like a goal that he accomplishes, and to see him with his jersey with his name on the back of it, Ray Newberry, it was a very inspiration to see him, and seeing his mother be so proud of him being someone that played sports for a college. And he was, like I said, our family was a family that too many people didn't go to college. So for him to be in college and being a football player, that was just something that was amazing to our family. So from that, I got that concept or that idea that I wanted to be a football player. And as time went on, as a young kid, I began to portray football, playing football in the neighborhood. Sometimes we played flag football. Or before we get into really detail of the story, I wanted to kind of take the tension off the story and kind of get into what the subject matter that I'm creating right now. As you can see that I'm creating this image. This image is going to be based around football. And as I continue to tell this story, I want you all to watch my hand, the pencil, and the images that I'm creating slowly, but as it come to life. Because as I continue to tell this story, you're gonna understand what my dreams were and why, what happened to my dreams, and the things that caused this dream to take a turn. So back to the story. As I continue to tell this story, I want y'all to know, when I was a little kid, playing football was my passion. It was my heart. It was my goals and dreams. It was everything to me, And in our neighborhood, growing up in North Memphis, a poverty neighborhood, Watkins and Browns is the neighborhood I was from. It was a real rough, drug infested, a lot of crime going on, but somehow, in some way, the children and the adults in that neighborhood found ways to love to play sports, football, and that was something that I loved to do. I loved to play because because like I told you, my first image of being a football player was my uncle. So me having that strong passion to want to be a football player, I wanted to be like my uncle so bad. So I had a strong passion and desire to do whatever it took to be that football player. So in my neighborhood, I just remember times I would play in the neighborhoods, and a lot of times by me being muscular and having because I always had a strong mind. So for me to to be able to run and be rough. See, football is a rough sport, and I feel as though that's how my mentality is. It is rough, and plus, like I told you, me being muscular, I love to be able to it was hard for other children or other teens or whatever to stop me. So as we would play football, in the neighborhoods, it would be other neighborhoods come to our neighborhood, or we'd go from our neighborhood to another neighborhood. And a lot, to be honest, playing football against other neighborhoods was a big challenge. But some of the things that I loved about it was I had became I'm somewhat became known for being a good football player. So it was like I had like a little reputation in the neighborhood or in the community or whatever, where people knew me for being a great runner, and it was hard for me to get tackled, and I was very good at catching the football. So as I continued to play football and play flag football, and I think by the age, maybe 10 or 11, I joined this football team, and this was like a spotlight for me. I got my own football. I got real football equipment. I got the helmets, I got the shoulder pads, I got the knee pads, I got the cleats, I got the gloves, I got everything. I got the mouthpiece. Everything was like my dreams are coming true. I'm this amazing football player, and my mother, I can see the smile on my mother's face. So in saying that, seeing my mother proud of me, seeing me making my dreams come true as a football player, now we on the big stage. My first game to ever play on a real football field, real fans in the stands, parents and all types of people coming out to see us play our first game. I was on this team. It was called the Midtown. I think it was called the Midtown Wildcats. It was something called Midtown. I just can't really get in tune with what was the name, but it was my goal, one of my biggest dreams. And I think I was like 12, I think either 11, 12, 13, one of those ages. So between those two ages, it wasn't there. I think I was around 9, because I wasn't living in North Memphis at the time. I was around 9 years old, maybe 8, 9, 10, somewhere in that area, close to 10, I know for sure. So in saying that, me living my dream as being a football player, striving to live up to the dreams as my uncle was living up to his dreams. Now I'm on the football field, and keep in mind that what I was going through in my at that time, I had a small reputation. I had a small reputation. I had a little name for myself. People was proud of me of being the running back that I was. I played the same position as my uncle played, a running back. It's hard to stop. I'm in the game playing the quarterback, hike the ball, give me the ball. I'm running the ball. First time ever touching the ball in my first game. And I remember running. It was like 3 or 4 people, young dudes, tried to tackle me, and they couldn't tackle me. And I made my first touchdown. Now, in saying that, I want y'all to understand what that done to me. What my self-esteem, it blew to the roof, knowing that I made my first ever touchdown. Now, before we get into more detail of that story, I want y'all to take a look at the picture that I'm quickly sketching. Because like I said, the more I create and tell this story, I need for you all to tune in to this helmet, this football helmet that I'm creating, because it's the same football helmet that I wore that day when I got that football and I ran and made a touchdown. See, it's been over 40 some years ago when I made that touchdown, and still to this day, I can feel the rush and the passion and the love that I had for the football sports. So back to the story. I remember running and made the touchdown, and I was standing in the end zone, and I remember turning around and seeing people cheering and happy for me, and I seen my people laughing and joyful, and everybody was celebrating as I celebrated. So as I continued to celebrate and walk over there to the bench, and our team go out, I can't just remember the moment. All I remember, I was sitting on the bench, breathing real hard, and I remember seeing the coach, the other team coach, going over to talk to the referees, and it was looking like a big commotion, looking like something was wrong. And so I'm like, well, what's going on? What's going on? And all I remember was the coach, my coach, he was going back and forth with the coach and the referees, and before you know it, the moment that took all my accomplishments away from me was the coach and the referees got to talking about that kid is too big to be on that team, and this and this and that, and all I could remember was, well, what are they talking about? I'm the right age. And if I can really break it down to understand what it was, like I told you, I can't really remember what age I was, but I know that I think you had to be from the ages, I can't really remember, I think it was from the age 7 to 10 or something like that, and I think I was either 10 getting ready to be 11. So that was the big argument, was that I was like I said, I was 10, but I was like a month or two getting ready to be 11 years old. So long story short, I could no longer play in the game, and that devastated me. That hurted me. That took something away from me, and it didn't take my passion from being a football player. It didn't do that, but what it did, it hurt it. It took that moment from me, because I knew in that moment I made not only myself proud, I made my family proud, I made my mother proud, I made people. It was just a big moment for me. And saying that, see, we're gonna go even deeper now, cause see, as I tell this story, I want y'all to understand, where did this dream and this passion for football go? Because, like I said, I always loved football. I love football still to this day. I watch it and I celebrate it and I follow it with passion and love, just like when I was a little boy. So in telling this story, let's get back into the picture. Now, as you can see, let me kind of break down what I'm doing to the picture. See, the first layer of this picture, I was creating the rough draft or the blueprint of the football helmet with a number 2 pencil. So now, as you can see, as I continue to create this piece of artwork, I wanted to break down different ways to create this piece to bring it into more life. See, now this is like the second layer of creating this football helmet. So now I wanted to use a darker pencil to kind of like bring more texture to it, more depth and weight to it, and that's something that I learned, technique that I learned a long time ago. First, you create with the light pencil to sort of like get the proportions right, get the measurements right, and then come back over to fill in the detail, more details. Cause see, the first layer is more really like light lines and circles and just real scribbly and sketchy. But now it's time to create with detail and put in different things that matter to the piece. So back to the story. Now, mind you, that moment, I want y'all to keep in mind that moment when I made that touchdown. You see, in that moment when I made that touchdown, and as that day went by, I couldn't stop thinking about what I done. I couldn't stop thinking about how the dreams that I had for football, it was real. And saying that, I never caught that moment again. I never got a chance to play football on a football team again. But mind you, even though I never joined another football team, I always went back to the hood and we played football, street football. But it was nothing like that moment. I can't really break down why I never joined another football team. Maybe I just felt, I don't know, I just think that moment, how those coaches and referees was attacking me as a young kid. I don't know. It traumatized me where I didn't want to play for a team no more. But that still was my dream, to be a football player. But something happened. Reason why I wanted to break this story down and get y'all to understand what it was like losing my dreams and my goals, and understand I want to be able to touch the youth with this piece of art, because the lesson that I learned in having this dream, these goals, and this passion for something that I loved so much as a kid, and something that I really wanted to be when I grew up, I wanted to be a football player. So mind you, every time, the older I got, every year, every time I seen a football player in a football uniform, my mind always told me, that's supposed to be you. That haunted me, that bothered me. And the more I grew into an adult age, it continued to haunt me, that because I felt as though I supposed to have been a football player. Now, in saying this, I want y'all to really look at this picture that I'm creating, because see, this is a lesson that I learned from living life. You see, I learned in the moments of my experience of living my life that dreams can come true. Dreams can be real. Dreams can be a very good possibility if you put your mind and your heart and your passion into your dreams. Now, keep in mind that day that I made that touchdown, I always kept that in my mind and in my heart, that I wanted to capture that moment again in life. But before I was able to catch that dream again, that passion, that feeling, that drilling feeling that I got from making that touchdown, I have to go back and let you all know what happened from the time I got kicked off the football team until now. You see, creating a dream and living a dream and striving for your dream takes a lot of hard work. So in saying that, from the age 12 maybe to 25, 26, in that area, you see, my dream and goal was to be a football player. But something happened that took me away from those dreams and passion of being a football player. You see, growing up in North Memphis, in the heart of North Memphis, where there's drug dealing, gang banging, robbery, stealing, poverty, a lot of winos hanging around in the neighborhoods talking about what they coulda, shoulda, woulda done with their lives. See, that's the type of environment that I came from. And see, and losing my opportunity to be on that football team. See, now when I look back at it, see, that really done something to me. At first, I didn't really grasp the reality of how that affected my life, how that affected my drive or my passion to want to become something. See, subconsciously, as a little kid, when I got kicked off that team, see, my mind, even though I still had love and passion for football, subconsciously, I lost the desire to live out my dreams as a football player. So in saying that, I want y'all to go deep with this picture that I'm creating. As you continue to look at this picture, I'm creating with great details. The reason why I'm creating this picture with great details and with passion is because I want y'all to understand that's how much passion and love that I had for football. But that day when they kicked me off that football team, it did something to my heart, to my passion for being a football player. Little did I know that experience changed my path into going into being someone of the street life. Living in the streets now, cause now I got another image. Cause the image that I had of being like my uncle, I felt as though I couldn't be that. So I looked at for something else, and that was the environment that I was around, the society that I was around. And that began to take hold of my identity, because the identity that I tried to become, a football player, it was like they took that from me. They didn't want me to be that. So I turned to other identities: drug dealing, selling drugs, robbery, stealing, committing crimes, burglarizing, things of that nature. So in saying that, that took a hold of my dreams. And now my dreams turned into want to be someone in the streets. After losing my passion for football, and as the streets took a hold of my desires, my passion, and I began to live the street life, I began to change my identity. My identity changed. My passion was driven by street desires. My passion for anything was everything that I wanted to be as a little kid. It was like the streets robbed me for it, and the consequences behind my passion of being in the street life at the age 21. As you all follow my story, everyone know I was shot in the head, leaving me blind in my right eye, and causing my life to take a whole 360. And now, mind you, we still talking about this dream, these goals, this passion that I had for football. You see, I'm still talking about that touchdown that I made. We still talking about the rush, the passion and the love that I had for the football game. You see, when I lost my eye and I began to go through a deep depression, and I couldn't, and it was like everything that I so desired in life, it was taken from me again. See, this time it wasn't my football passion, it was the drug dealing and the street life. See, I love the street life so much, and me being shot, losing my right eye, it was like it was ripped from me all over again. It was the same feelings and the same experience that I had when they told me that I could no longer play football. See, when I got shot and lost my eye, that was the same thing. It was like me losing my eye. I knew I couldn't hustle like I wanted to hustle no more, because because I lost the passion for drug dealing and running the streets, because losing something that money can't replace, it would change your perception and your reality fast. So in saying that, I began to do some real soul searching. I began to ask myself, how can I come out of this? So I began to seek a power greater than myself to help me through these situations. Now, before we get through with this, I want y'all to look at this picture. You see how detailed and how this picture is coming to life? See, that's what my art began to do. This is what I'm trying to get to, the point I'm trying to get y'all to understand. See, the same feeling I had when I lost my eye, I had to find another passion. I had to find another love. I had to find a new identity. And that identity was my art. See, my art began to come to life. I began to pick up a pencil. See, I always had the gift of art in me. Always. Even when I was playing football. Even when I was selling drugs. But I never used it. I didn't know how valuable it was until I lost my eye. And I began to pick this pencil up. And I began to create. I began to draw. I began to speak to myself through my art. I began to talk to the people. I began to release pain, hurt, love, emotions. I began to experience all type of experiences with this art. And see, creating with this art gave me the same feeling today as I had when I made that first touchdown. So when you see me creating, when you see my art, you see me making that touchdown. You see me laughing and being happy and joyful and being excited to be able to express myself through art. See, this art that I create, this just not no something that I do for fun. See, this right here, this art it helps me travel through time. It helps me see my life from when I was a little boy, from when I was a teenager, to when I was a young man, and to when I was an old man. See, I began to use my art. I began to use my talent and my gift to travel through time and travel through the future. See, I began to create my own world through my art. You see, my art is my passion. It's my love. It's my touchdown. And see, one thing I learned about this art, see, can't nobody stop me from creating. And that's why I love it so much. See, I can create. I create even when I'm not drawing. That's the passion of love. That's my touchdown.
Yeah.